What's up, fellow modelers? Will here. Welcome to the Anson's Chair, and this is a special edition episode because, I don't do a whole lot of kit bashing. I'm not a big fan of kit bashing. I like when other people do kit bashes. I like looking at them, but I don't like doing kit bashes myself. Maybe one of these days, but. A challenge, a call to arms has been issued. A challenge has been issued. A gauntlet has been thrown down, I guess you could say. And Polar Lights is sponsoring a Galileo Mashup challenge, which is basically taking the 1/32 Galileo model and modeling it, changing it, altering it, customizing it, to be, I guess, themed after a show from the 60s, 70s, or 80s. So, I had to go with my favorite show from that era, which is Airwolf. If you've seen my videos, you know that other than Star Trek, really the only other videos I've done is Airwolf. And so I have decided to do a Galileo Shuttlecraft themed Airwolf. Now, it will not be called the Galileo. I'll save the title for later. I'll tell you what the ship will be later on. I'm not going to tell you right now. But I do have some plans kind of made up for this, and I just wanted to do a quick go-over, if you will, of what my plans are. Now, there are other people that want to keep their build secret. That's fine. I don't care, really. I am in it for the build. I'm not even concerned about winning. Winning would be nice, but I just enjoy building. I don't really, even if they didn't offer a prize, I still would have built something because I like building. I like that it's a group build. It's going to be fun to do this and then get to Wonderfest next year and see all the different takes that people have had. Even if someone else does an Airwolf build, I don't care. It's to see somebody do a different take than what I'm doing will be nice. And even if they rip me off, then, if you rip me off, you're probably going to lose because I'm not a great kit bashing person, but I have some ideas, and I just kind of want to talk about those in the video real quick for those that are interested in following along. Now, I will say this build isn't going to start for a little bit, but I kind of want to get my plans out, not just so everybody knows what I'm doing and nobody can say I copied somebody else later down the road, but just to kind of get it down for myself for later when I do start this build. It's probably going to be at least October, November before I actually start the kit bash. Now, I will start modeling. I do have some 3D parts that I'm going to have to do, design, print, test, and all that. Now, I may do some of that on the side, but to start the build in earnest is probably going to be at least October, probably even November, because I'm going to finish up the 1/350 O-berth, and as soon as I'm done that, maybe even before I get a chance to finish it, Gary over at Mask Design is going to send me a set of masks, his new masks, for the Kronos 1, which I've got sitting on the shelf over there across from me. It's teasing me, it's beckoning me to build it. So I'm going to get started on that as soon as this is done. I still have the 1/350 Ian Lawrence Tribute Enterprise A I'm working on. I'm kind of slow rolling that because I've got some parts that I'm waiting on. Cass over at Lake Monster Details has been working on some new stuff. So as soon as I get that stuff in, I can kind of pick back up on that some more, but I'm kind of slow rolling it right now. I knew that build was going to be kind of as I get time to go along. It's going to be a long meandering build. It's not going to be something I'm going to knock out real fast. So I got that going on. I do still have the 1/250 Reliant that I've got to get into doing some 3D modeling, but I've got some things I've got to learn on that. So that's kind of sitting on the back burner until I get comfortable enough with 3D modeling to work out the parts I need to work out. And then on top of that, I still have the Death Star, which I kind of need to focus on because I want to have that done by mid-October. I've been building that for somebody's birthday, and I want to make sure I've got it done. So without further ado, give me a minute. I'm actually not going to show you anything on the bench today. I'm going to show you what my plans are on the computer screen. So give me a minute. I'll switch to the screen and we'll get started. All right, guys, so here we go. Here is a model of, now this is just a model I picked a screenshot of because it was big enough for me to show, and it's the right angle for me to show all the points of interest, so to say, that I need to go over. But let's take a look at Airwolf. All right, So in looking at this and planning this out, there's a couple of things that immediately I know I want to include in this mashup. And starting from the front, that includes the nose cone. I want that on there. And it's going to take some work because I don't know that I just want to slap a nose cone on the front here. I think I'm going to modify this front end some, maybe to have a little bit of a different angle out and then back, and then have a nose cone of some type on there. Maybe not exactly shaped like Airwolf's, but some version of it to where it looks decent on the model, but it represents, they have a tribute on Airwolf. And then from there, I know I want this side panel on there. The side panel, I want to incorporate some type of engine, turbo engine, or maybe an auxiliary impulse engine it would be, for since it's a Star Trek theme. And so I want those things included, but in addition, I gotta have the machine guns. I gotta have those on this model. So that's going to require, go back to the model here a second. That's going to require a bit of modification because you can see there's really no place here for that. And if I add the panel, the side panel on here, that's going to take up even more space. So I'm going to have to modify this wing a bit. Probably have to change the struts up to where the nacelle mounts onto it, and make it to where I can have those things incorporated on the side here. So that's another thing I might have to work on with that. And this is just early planning stages, just a couple of things that I've noted, and a couple of things that I want to do. But so I know those things have got to happen. I've got to make some type of modification to the front end here, and I've got to definitely make a modification to the side panel here. In addition to that, some of the other stuff's kind of superficial. I don't know if I want to have the refueling nozzle on the front here as part of that. You've also got these other two points that stick out, and I don't know if those are sensors or what those are. I'm sure somebody that flies helicopters or that would be able to say. But I want to I just want it to be recognizable on the Shuttlecraft as being inspired by the front end of Airwolf, and definitely the side panel. And in addition to those chain guns, I also want to have the cannons on the underside. So it's definitely, this model is definitely going to get the cannons on the underside. And then, I don't know, may figure out some type of detail to add up here. I wasn't sure whether or not, I haven't decided yet whether or not I want to add the vents on the back, the exhaust vents on the Shuttlecraft as well. But that may be something I add as well, just to give a little detail to it, and just give a little more resemblance to Airwolf. I have talked to Gus over at G-Cals about making the decals for me, and he's going to work something up for me. I will probably go with a different color scheme though than what is shown on the regular model. I just don't think this is going to go well with the paint scheme, because obviously this is going to have the Phantom Gray metallic paint job. It is Phantom Gray, not black. I don't care what anybody says. I know what the color was. I've talked to, had conversations with people that have actually worked on Airwolf and reproductions of Airwolf. So it's definitely was a gray color, like a dark gray, not a black like most people think. And then the bottom also going to have the, which also was not a white. It was more of a pearl gray, a light pearl gray. So I'm gonna have that color tone, that two-tone color tone on here that's recognizable for Airwolf. And I just want to say, when I was doing some research for different front ends, just kind of get an idea of what the front end is, and I looked at a bunch of stuff to kind of get some inspiration. And one of the things I looked up was the Defiant, the way, you know, the nose is kind of squared on the front. But I just, off topic a little bit, just want to know, was anybody aware that Defiant made a special appearance in a movie in 2020? There it is, right there on the front of this ship. Now this is obviously meant to be a kit bash. Usually kit bashes use parts of other models. They use the entire Defiant. This movie is called Cargo. It's on Netflix. There's two Cargo movies. One is a different movie, Cargo. I think it's about smuggling or something. This is actually a low-budget Indian movie, sci-fi movie called Cargo. But anyway, I just want to put that out there. I thought that was kind of interesting. I did not know that, and I came across this, and I was like, what is the Defiant doing on the front there? But yeah, so they put the whole ship on the front of theirs. But anyway, I digress. Back to the build. So those are the main points I want to get done on this model. And just like I said, this is more of a record for me. Now, this is sponsored by Polar Lights, so I don't want to do any advertising for anybody else. But I will be using I just want to say I will be using a 3D file to model my parts on. Because I think it'll be easier for me to do the 3D model and model my parts and modify them and get them as close as possible to what the Polar Lights model is, and then add them to the Polar Light, print them, add them to the Polar Lights model, see how they fit, rather than doing multiple prints of something to try to correct something. At least I will have that 3D model to model these on and figure out before I try to fit them onto the Polar Lights model. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to put something out and go over what my plans are for my build. I'm looking forward to this. I enjoyed Airwolf, loved Airwolf as a kid. I still enjoy it now. I've rewatched it probably 2 or 3 times, the entire series. And it was a no-brainer for me when they said to model a shuttlecraft after something from the 60s, 70s, or 80s. That was the immediate thought that came to mind, was to do this. Plus, it's appropriate because Airwolf was designed by Andrew Probert, who is also a Star Trek alumni. So I thought that made it even more appropriate to use for a Star Trek model. But again, anyway, guys, I just thought I'd put something out real quick on this and do a little introduction and what my plans were, so nobody could say I ripped them off or I copied them. You know what I'm doing. Like I said, I'm not worried about if somebody does something similar to what I do. If you do it better than me, kudos to you, and if you win an award over me, that's fine. I'm not too worried about the award. I just want to enjoy modeling and enjoy it with other builders and see what everybody else comes up with. So looking forward to seeing everybody's builds at the next Wonderfest. Until then, keep modeling.